The news day continues here on One News Now. I'm Diego Castro, bringing you the biggest headlines from around the world. Russia says it killed scores of, quote, Ukrainian nationalists who crossed into the country from Ukraine. The Russian military claimed killing more than 70 of these supposed Ukrainians while destroying 4 armored vehicles. After 2 days of combat, the governor of Russia's Belgorod region said the anti-terrorism measures had been lifted. Russia has blamed Ukraine, but Kyiv said those involved are Russian fighters seeking to overthrow their president Vladimir Putin. One political scientist said the attack could be a shaping operation to prepare the battlefield for a Ukrainian counteroffensive.
These are not independent forces. They are controlled by Ukrainian military intelligence. They rely on the Ukrainians for weapons and support and such like. So in some ways, they are accepting that they are part of the Ukrainian war effort simply because they believe that a Russian defeat in Ukraine hastens the downfall of the regime in Moscow.
Former U.S. President Donald Trump appears by video conference at the pre-trial hearing for his hush money case. Trump was wearing a blue suit against a backdrop of American flags at his Florida estate with a lawyer by his side. A judge scheduled his criminal trial for March 25, putting him in a Manhattan courtroom in the heat of next year's presidential primary season. On social media, Trump, who is running for president again, said it is very unfair and what the radical left Democrats wanted. Last month, Trump pleaded not guilty to over 30 counts of falsifying business records related to hush money payments to a porn star. U.S. President Joe Biden and House Speaker Kevin McCarthy could not reach an agreement on how to raise the $31.4 trillion debt ceiling. McCarthy has been pressuring the White House to agree to spending cuts in the federal budget, which Biden considered extreme. After over an hour of talks with Biden, McCarthy said negotiators were going to get together and work through the night to try to find common ground. This before the U.S. is expected to default on its federal debts on June 1. McCarthy, however, maintained he was not willing to consider Biden's plan to cut the deficit by raising taxes on the wealthy. The House Speaker also said closing tax loopholes for the oil and pharmaceutical industries was off the table.
So the problem is not revenue, the problem is spending. So if you want to know where our differences have been, it's always been the same place. I simply believe, like any household, like any business, like any state government, when you're this far out of whack, you have to spend less than you spent last year. Look, I don't think a short-term extension benefits anybody. We're this where we're at. If it's a short-term extension, I think the country looks at somehow we failed, that we can't do the job we're supposed to do.
We'll be back with more stories after the break. Keep it here on One News. You're still watching One News Now World. I'm Jago Castro. The driver of the box truck that crashed into security barriers near White House grounds has been charged with threatening the U.S. president after what authorities appear to believe was a deliberate crash. The 19-year-old driver is identified as Sai Varsit Kandula, who has been detained by the Secret Service. A Reuters witness said investigators found a Nazi swastika flag that apparently came from inside the truck, which crashed into barriers at the Lafayette Square Monday evening. Authorities note that no weapons were found inside the truck. The exact location of U.S. President Joe Biden at the time of the incident was unclear, though he did meet with Speaker of the U.S. House of Representatives Kevin McCarthy at the White House earlier on Monday evening. The White House says Biden has been briefed about the incident.
He's relieved that no one was injured last night and grateful to the agents and the law enforcement officer who responded so quickly. I can tell you that he was briefed by both the relevant agencies, if you will, law enforcement agencies who had to deal with the situation, and he's very thankful to them for their quick response on this particular issue.
Still on the issue of security, Britain's Prince Harry lost a bid to legally challenge the British government's decision not to allow him to pay for police protection while he is in the United Kingdom. King Charles' younger son was stripped of the police security usually afforded to royal figures after he and his American wife Meghan stepped down from their official roles in 2020 to move to the United States. Last year, the High Court in London already agreed he should be allowed to challenge an original decision to end their protection. But they now ruled that Harry could not also seek a judicial review over whether to let him pay for the specialist police officers himself. The decision to strip him of publicly funded protection was taken by the Executive Committee for the Protection of Royalty and Public Figures, which approved security for the royals and VIPs such as the Prime Minister. Couples should be on top of the world on their wedding day. And this space travel company from the US is offering exactly that if you've got a few million pesos to spare. Space Perspective offers couples a chance to exchange their I do's at the edge of space, or quote above 99% of the Earth's atmosphere. However, instead of a rocket, it would make use of a pressurized capsule powered by a space balloon. The ascent and descent would take a total of 6 hours and comes with a price tag worth $125,000 or 7 million pesos per head. Though Space Perspective is still looking to officially launch the program in 2024, it has already sold 1,000 tickets for the experience. And those are the top world headlines of the hour. Join us again at 9 a.m. as we continue to monitor the day's biggest stories. Coming right up is Agenda at 8 a.m. I am Jago Castro. We are One News. All sides, all the time.